Oh, okay. So I have the cliff notes for the book on
Okay,
my screen to my left, and already I'm like, should we do this?
fantastic. Here's the intro.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Welcome to Cliff Notes Continued, where we improvise the stories authors are too lazy to write. I'm Lucas Larson.
And I am Ananya George. Oh, that.
I don't know.
Okay,
I think that's
cool.
it. I think that's it.
That's it. That's our intro.
Okay, that's our intro. So what's the book this time, Andy? Your pick.
It is Romeo and Juliet by Willie Boy Shake Circle.
Oh man. Okay. Time for some old English. Oh my god. The Cliff Notes you sent me are like reading the Cliff Notes would take like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, should we do this? Let's okay. I feel like okay, hold on. For this one, let's make an exception. I'm just gonna open ChatGPT. Hi, can you summarize Romeo and Juliet? Not to be confused with, of course, the hit movie Nomeo and Juliet. The cultural anyway, in
Your favorite movie of all time?
no, that's Sherlock Gnomes. Don't sully it.
I thought it was Gnome Way Home.
Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? ChatGPT is summarizing it in less than 500 words. So I'm gonna drop this into chat.
Okay.
All right.
Get us rock and rolling,
All
Ananya.
right. Whoa. The, I'm starting with paragraph 2, right? Um,
I,
the
I thought you
pl-
were going to start with certainly.
All right, let's do that.
No.
Certainly. Oh, the
Go
play
paragraph 2.
begins. Okay. The play begins with a long-standing feud between the Montague and Capulet families. Romeo Montague attends a party at the Capulet household, where he meets and falls in love with Juliet Capulet. Unbeknownst to them, whoa, their families are sworn enemies.
Okay. Capulet is Julia and
Juliet.
Juliet. Yeah, Montague is Romeo.
Yeah, have you seen West Side Story?
No.
Okay, so the sharks.
Like literal sharks, or
No,
that's the
no, no.
name of the
That's
family?
the name of the gang. Yeah, the sharks.
Okay, I was gonna be like, I thought West Side Story was humans.
Uh, go on next.
Okay. Let's see. Unbeknownst to them, sworn enemies. Romeo and Juliet decide to marry in secret the next day with the help of Friar Lawrence. The
Okay.
marriage takes place, but shortly afterward, a series of unfortunate events unfold. Okay. Um, okay, so we got the Montague family, the Capulet family, Romeo, Juliet, Friar Lawrence.
All right. The okay. Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, challenges Romeo to a duel. Oh, they're in a rumble now, resulting in Tybalt's death. In retaliation, Romeo kills Tybalt and is subsequently banished from Verona by Prince Aeschylus. Verona, I'm guessing, is like the city this takes place in, and Prince Aeschylus is like the guy.
Okay. Verona equals city, and then Prince. Prince E. Okay. Juliet is devastated by the news of Tybalt's death, but is also torn by her love for Romeo. To reunite the lovers, Friar Lawrence devises a plan. He gives Juliet a potion that will make her appear dead for 48 hours.
Okay, 42 hours. The idea is for her to be laid in the Capulet tomb, where Romeo will find her upon his return to Verona and they can escape together. Oh, so it's like the illusionist.
Yeah. Okay. However, the plan goes awry. Romeo, unaware of the friar's scheme, hears of Juliet's death and rushes back to Verona. He buys poison and goes to the Capulet tomb, where he encounters Paris, a suitor of Juliet. A duel ensues, resulting in Paris's death.
Shit, man. Romeo's just killing everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and yeah, in the tomb, Romeo finds Juliet seemingly lifeless and takes the poison. Juliet wakes up, discovers Romeo dead beside her, and stabs herself with his dagger.
Their tragic deaths prompt the families to reconcile, realizing the cost of their long-standing feud. The play concludes with the prince admonishing the families for their
What? Say
role.
that again.
No, you say it. Fuck you.
Admonishing.
Yeah. That. The families for their role in the tragedy and urging them to bury their grievances.
Romeo and Juliet is celebrated for its exploration of themes such as love, fate, and the consequences of feuding. The, the play has endured as one of Shakespeare's most famous works, capturing the essence of youthful passion and the destructive power of ancient grudges. I really
Okay.
hope, I really hope your brain is going in the same direction as mine is, because that would be very funny.
I hope so too. Okay. So you got the Montague family, the Capulet family, Romeo and Juliet, Friar Lawrence, uh, Tybalt, who's dead, Verona's the city, Prince Aeschylus, and Paris. Paris is like
Who's
a
also
dude.
dead.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
dead too. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Start.
Let's begin.
Okay. Yeah. Chapter one.
What's the
Chapter,
title? What's the title of this book?
uh, Romeo and Juliet 2. Gnome, you wish it was Nomeo and Juliet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Chapter 1, in the lab. We're in a underground bunker with no windows and stainless steel tables. In the center of the room, there are a bunch of beakers with a wide array of colors and formaldehyde jars with wild creatures like two-headed snakes and three-eyed pigs.
In
In the center of the table, you hear rattling of beakers and slushing of liquids as there stands Katie, the forgotten Capulet sister, daughter. And Katie is working on the poison that Juliet was taking for 42 hours of pretend death. Katie is fascinated by the potion that resulted in her sister's untimely death.
That is not where I thought this would begin. Every sentence was like a rug pull. I was just, where is this going? What are we doing that? No, we're not doing that. What? No, we're not doing that. What?
Yeah. It's called improv for a reason, Andy.
um uh Katie's holding up the beaker of Juliet's poison up to a light to try and see if it's changing color, but it just doesn't. From behind her, Friar Lawrence walks into the room, and Katie turns around quickly and goes, The pH level on this isn't very nice. I think we need a little bit more of alkaline. And Friar, could you please get me some more hemlock for this mixture?
Why, of course, Katie. Is the hemlock near the two-headed snake or the three-eyed pig?
Check the beaker underneath the three-eyed pig.
Friar Lawrence grabs all the beakers under the three-eyed pig and holding them in like grasping them all in his arms, he stumbles back and dumps them out in front of Katie. And Friar Lawrence turns a bright red in embarrassment.
Friar, I said the hemlock, not the coriander or the salt or the vinegar and the hemlock. But okay, Katie's still staring at the beaker full of the poison. She brings her hand down at the other selection of beakers next to her. She grabs one and puts like a tiny drop, one tiny drop in the mixture of the beaker, and shakes it as it suddenly starts frothing up. She looks over to her right. Turns out the beaker she picked up was vinegar.
And Friar Lawrence is freaking out at this point and just screams, Katie, what have you done? And
Uh,
he runs to the other side of the table and grabs just like a bucket of water that's there because like they don't have fire extinguishers at this point. So he just throws the bucket of water at Katie and the foaming beaker.
So Katie is now drenched in water, head to toe. She's like, she just got out. It looks like she got out of a slide at Disney World of Water World, right? She's like just dripping with water as she's holding on to the beaker. The frothing seems to have stopped. She's just like completely, caught off guard. She takes her hand, the hand that's not holding onto the beaker, puts her hair back, just like flips it with amount of like aggressiveness. She looks at over at Friar and goes, "You fool!" Suddenly the beaker starts getting hot, really hot. She drops it, and now there's froth everywhere. It's covering from the bottom of the ground to the top to the ceiling of the lab. Froth everywhere, and it's expanding rapidly.
And Friar Lawrence, you can see his eyes popping through the foam as he struggles back to Katie and he grabs Katie and whispering in her ear, "Follow me." They stumble back towards the door to the underground lab while the froth continues to expand and their movements get slower and slower.
They reach the exit, they get out of the door, and they slam it shut behind them. As we see that the door is like double bolted and there's full of it's just metallic. It's held at the position, and the lab is slowly being overtaken by this froth as the froth on them is also slowly starting to expand. Katie wipes it off of her, wipes it off of the Friar, and goes, "Go get somebody to help and bring some goddamn hemlock this time."
Chapter 2, still outside the lab. Friar Lawrence runs back like he's out of breath and he's like, Katie, Katie, I brought Prince Aeschylus. I don't know if he has hemlock, but he's the Prince of Verona. So he's got to have answers and he's got to be able to help us. And behind Friar Lawrence, you can see just a very annoyed Prince Aeschylus.
Aeschylus, Kate. This is the first time the prince and Katie have ever met. So Katie looks at Aeschylus. Aeschylus looks at Katie, and we start to hear music. background music of like the monkeys, you know, and I saw her face, and then Katie, but from Aeschylus's perspective, but Katie's like, we don't have time for this, Friar. Aeschylus, can you take a look at the foam and see if do you what do you have in your pockets? Aeschylus is like patting himself down, finds some belly button lint in his right pocket, and hands it over to Katie. And Katie goes, "You're a prince of Verona, and all you have in your pocket is some lint. It's okay. I'll see what I can do with it." She wears her glasses that she has in her pocket, does the double lens, takes a look at the lint, and she's just working on it. Meanwhile, Aeschylus just like slightly leans over to the friar and goes, "Hey, are you two dating?"
And the friar leans back at Aeschylus and goes, "It's a secret between me and Katie. Even Katie doesn't know."
Katie figures. Katie immediately the corner goes, "Aha!" She pulls out one hair from the belly button lint, uh, opens the cat door of the lab, holds it in front of her mouth, and goes, causing the hair to slowly fall into the foam. And as soon as it touches the foam, foam just evaporates.
And now Friar Lawrence and King Aeschylus are just flabbergasted at Katie's brilliance. The Prince Aeschylus stops looking for more lint. It is clearly not needed. And now Friar Lawrence opens up the door, looks at Katie, and looks at the prince and says, "Prince Aeschylus, I think we'll be going now," and tries to get Katie into the door while leaving Prince Aeschylus out in the stairway.
And so as Aeschylus and Katie are walking into the underground lab, Aeschylus is just like, Aeschylus, is that his name? Prince E. He's just
Yeah.
standing there, going, "But can I join? Can I please join?" Katie looks back at him. She goes, "No, I already have one idiot working for me. I can't afford another." He goes, "But I'll do it for free. I'll do it for free. I promise. I'll do it for free." Katie then goes, "Fuck it, sure, why not?" Chapter 3, 7 months later.
Now we're in a old cabin made out of mud, and it has a fire burning and a pot on the fireplace. And Friar Lawrence walks up to the pot and takes a ladle, and he fills up one bowl, he fills up a second bowl, and he fills up a third bowl of delicious stew. He now walks back to the table and puts a bowl in front of Katie, in front of his seat, and in front of Prince E's seat, because they've got the weirdest thruple going on.
Hey, man. Hey, no kink shaming, all right?
There's no shame unless someone is literally Prince Aeschylus and Friar Lawrence. We
uh,
have a
the-
complete part, like we have a complete department for those people. Message us.
yeah, there's no space in mine. Luke is definitely has space in his. Anyway, uh, uh, so uh, Aeschylus, the friar, and Katie are now eating the stew together as they are reminiscing about the good times. Katie takes one spoon of her stew and she can barely eat it. Before she eats it, she puts the spoon back and then just starts sobbing morosely from the bottom of her heart. This is the first time she's shown any emotion in front of these two gentlemen.
And Friar Lawrence is pretty slow, so he doesn't notice what's happening right away. but
Uh, Go on.
but Prince Aeschylus is deeply distraught and uh like slides up to Katie, puts his arm around her, and he's like, "It'll be okay, Katie. In the last 7 months, I might have gone from a prince of Verona to now living in this mud shack with you and Mr. Fryer. But it's all worth it for your love."
Katie immediately swipes his hand off. She goes, "I don't want your love. I miss my sister Juliet."
And at this point, Friar Lawrence notices something is going up, and like he hears the word Juliet, and it reminds him of the time he helped Romeo and Juliet run away and elope. And Friar Lawrence decides to wax poetic, and he's like, "Katie, you've always been the one I love. You're the reason I was motivated to help Romeo and Juliet, because Juliet loved Romeo, and you, Katie, loved Juliet."
Uh, Katie's upset now because Katie's super upset, and she stands up and goes, "You? You were the reason they were motivated? Oh, get off it. You were the reason they're dead. If you hadn't stolen the poison from my lab, they would have still been alive. You. I don't even want to deal with you right now." And she picks up her soup because she's still hungry, and goes inside the room, slams the door on these two guys, leaving both of them alone together in this room.
And uh, Aeschylus looks at Friar, and he grabs the spoon from his soup and he points it intimidatingly at Friar Lawrence, wishing it was a
Does
knife.
does he do the thing, like you do before a duel?
Yeah, exactly. With
Okay.
the sound effects, that's how like fast he's like hitting the
Doing the
air with his
spoon.
spoon.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This hut isn't big enough for both of us, Lawrence. And you've
Okay.
and you've clearly broken Katie's heart. You are not worthy of Katie Capulet's love. I will end you, Mr. Lawrence."
Friar Lawrence sees a bowl on the ground from the one that was accidentally tossed while Katie was upset. He kicks it. He kicks it in a way that it like does a little 360 backflip in the air and lands in his hand. And he's holding on to it with one hand, and he goes, "Don't test me, Prince. I am a man of the Lord." Points the bowl up high and goes, "He himself will smite you down if you choose to do anything and make a move against me. Don't forget." Both of them are completely missing the point of what's really going on here.
Yeah. And Prince Aeschylus um, is like, "Oh, poor Friar, you're so dumb. You still think I'm a prince, and you don't know that spoons are clearly better than balls."
And he goes,
You-
"Bowls are better than spoons. Look at my hair, man." He has like a half bowl cut, but his like forehead is shaven, but the rest of it around it is not.
And at this exact moment, you could just hear Katie cry even louder. And like, we don't know if it's because she's reminiscing about Juliet or because of her two other people in the thruple are being like, she can overhear their incompetent argument.
The prince at this point are, look what you did. Look at how much more you upset her. I challenge you. It's either now, either you die or you stay alive. Either you die or I die. There we go. That's the one.
Yeah. Chapter 3, you die or I die.
Wait, no, chapter 4.
Chapter 4, oh yeah, chapter
Yeah.
4, you die or I die.
Yeah.
And so we're outside the hut, and there's cornfields all around, and the smoke is still coming out of the chimney of the hut. Katie is reluctantly leaning against the door of the hut, while to Katie's right, there is Aeschylus, the former prince, with his spoon, and he is sharpening the spoon. Don't He's not going to fight with the knife he's sharpening it with. He's sharpening the spoon. And on to Katie's left, we have Friar Lawrence with his bowl cut, and he has his bowl, and he is hitting the bowl with his hand, making it sing, like how you hit like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I got you. I got you. Uh,
And they are staring intently at each other.
both gentlemen have taken the plates that they would normally use that are made of wood and have covered it onto themselves like body armor. So they're covered in plates with one guy holding onto a spoon and the other dude holding onto a bowl. And suddenly the style transitions. Now we're in an anime as the friar lifts his bowl up and points it to the prince and goes, "This bowl is a there it goes. The best offense is a great defense. With my defensive powers and the power of the Lord behind me, you will be vanquished by my powerful defense."
Yeah. My singing bowl sings the voices of the dead Tybalt and the dead Paris. They will
Nice.
protect me.
Nice. I like that. The prince takes a spoon and points it up to the sky and goes, with my Excalibus spoon." He points it all the way over to the friar. "This will channel the energy of the dead Romeo, who I banished after killing Tybalt. So I clearly have the upper hand here."
And Katie dramatically rolls her eyes at both sentences. And Katie's
No,
like,
but the style is completely different when we see Katie.
oh, okay, yeah, she's not anime.
No, she's not anime. She's just like regular, whatever we've been doing so far.
Okay, you're only anime in the battle. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
because
and
they're in their own little world.
yeah, and they're focused on each other, and so Katie's totally normal and does a dramatic eye roll. She goes back in the house, and you hear some rummaging around. While
Okay.
they're rummaging around, Friar Lawrence takes his singing bowl and sits on the ground in a monk position and makes the bowl sing louder and is like, "Dear Typhoid and dear Paris, come help my defenses against uh, Aeschylus and his sharp spoon."
Aeschylus tosses the spoon up into the air, catches it with the other hand, goes behind his head, and then shoots it out like a boomerang, uh, hitting, going over to the monk, over to the friar. And as soon as it reaches the friar's head, the bowl actually leaves the friar in the air as he's levitating, but the bowl whips over the friar and defends him. Uh, uh, and like deflects the spoon, and the spoon goes flying back to the prince. The prince catches it in one hand and goes, "Oh, I thought this would hit. How am I going to penetrate his defenses?"
And the friar goes, "I thought it would hit too."
But I guess the bowl's real.
Yeah. And now you could hear the rummaging louder in the hut where Katie is, but the friar prepares to go from defense to offense because you know what they say, the best offense is good defense. And he takes the bowl and he scoops up dirt that's next to him. He's still seated. And by scooping up the dirt, the sound of the singing bowl changes.
Mm.
And he's like, now, not only do we have Typhoid in Paris, we have the
You've
whole
never watched
Montague.
anime.
Yeah. We have the whole. Yeah.
You've
I have
never
not
watched
watched
anime
yet.
in your
No, no.
life.
I've watched. I've watched The Last Airbender, but back to the bowl. Okay.
Okay.
It's like I got the whole Montague family with me. And we can see like literal ghosts start to form behind Friar Lawrence.
Okay, that's pretty anime. Um, as Friar Lawrence, now he stands up and he's like levitating 6 feet off the ground as the all the dirt that he pulled up in the all the dirt that he pulled up in the bowl is like surrounding him in a circle, and then the bowl is like singing louder as it's like standing right in front of him. The bowl flips over with the open side facing the prince, and he goes, Montague Dad, go! As like a little bit of dirt goes through the bowl, inside the bowl, and it reflects off to the prince, and it shoots up like a bolt, the piece of dirt towards the prince. And the prince just takes a spoon, deflects it, goes, "Oh, that was hard."
And then we hear the rummaging stop, and Katie walks back out the door. Both Friar Lawrence and Aeschylus are still in their last poses. And Katie is holding a pitcher and two cups. And she's like, time out, time out. And she like walks a little forward and she starts to turn anime. And then she walks over to Friar Lawrence and walks over to Prince Aeschylus and pours them both some water. And she's like, okay, well, we need a good toast before we get back to killing each other for my love. And
Mhm.
then Friar Florence and Prince Aeschylus hold up and tears in the air because they're still far away. Ding, or like, yeah, tears in the air. And they both drink it. And now they may be dead or they may be dead for 42 hours.
That's exactly what I was thinking you were taking this. As soon as they drink it, they fall down, and then immediately as soon as they fall down, Katie starts at stopwatch and goes, "Let's see where this goes."
Chapter 5, 41 hours later.
Katie's still standing there. She's looked the most peaceful and happy as she's ever been. She's sitting watching the birds chirp. She's just made herself a nice cup of tea. She's reading a book on hydrogen processes and how electrons move from different fuck what different
Hydrogen
electron shells
bonds.
to produce. No. You know how like there's a process where like electrons move from one ring to another and release like a photon or any sort of
Sure.
energy or
Yes,
neutrinos.
of course.
Yeah. So
I'm well
she's reading
versed.
she's reading a book about that. And she's like, huh, that's interesting, as she like writes something down in her notebook right next to her. Uh Suddenly out of nowhere we hear the prince go as he
And
sits right up.
Katie um, has the notebook to her side and a pitcher of water to her left. And she grabs the pitcher of water, walks over to the prince, and is like, "Oh, you sound thirsty."
The prince goes, I actually am. I feel like I haven't drunk water in 2 days. She's
And the prince is now asleep for 42 more hours.
as Katie writes down, solution B, 41 hours.
Yeah.
Uh 72 hours later, the
Okay.
friar goes and stands up straight. Katie gives him a pitcher of glass of water as well and goes, here, you look thirsty. Oh man, it feels like I haven't drunk water in 5 days.
And then,
Solution A, 5 days.
yeah. And Katie's taking detailed notes while the friar is back to sleep. And um, Katie's got detailed notes, and she walks back into the cabin. And in the cabin, she pours herself some soup and sits at the table, eats some soup, and lets out a satisfying and she goes, I just wish my sister Juliet was here, but she's always with me in my heart.
As she says this, she walks into the little room, revealing a tiny little piece of paper that says, "Dear Friar Lawrence, give this solution to Juliet and help her run away with Romeo after 42 hours."
So Katie was the mastermind all along.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
all
Then,
along.
yeah. Okay. And Katie is now in her bedroom, and she walks over to the dresser, and
Mhm.
she opens the dresser, and the dresser is full of plain looking clothes on plain looking hangers. And she pulls a hanger, and stairs just open up, and she walks down the stairs, and she's looking at her lab door.
As she opens her lab door, she sees a giant glass box inside of which are both Romeo and Juliet alive. As she opens a slot on the glass box, puts the bowl of soup in the box, and closes it again and goes, your food for the day.
And then Katie Katie tears up, just one single tear, and she wipes it away, and she catches it on her finger, and then she takes that tear, walks back to the table that's in the center of her underground lab and drops that tear in a beaker, and the beaker turns from a bright pink to a dull green,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts to bubble. And Katie's like, finally, the last ingredient, me pretending to care.
As she does this, Juliet goes, "Sister, how could you? Let us out of here at once!" And Katie holds on to this bright green beaker and said, "All these years, I was just Katie, while you were Juliet. Oh, Juliet, the Capulet." And Romeo's just in the corner. He has no idea what's going on. He's like the prince. And 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 Katie goes, "But now, after years of work, I finally found it. I found the solution that would allow me to go back in time and be named Juliet instead of Katie, thus changing the path of my life forever. Finally, people will know that I existed too, that I was the real brains in the Capulet family."
That I should have been the eye of Romeo's affection. I
Yeah.
always had a crush on Romeo, but he only had a thing for females that start with J.
What do you okay, hold on. Is that Lucas saying female or is that Katie saying female?
That's Katie.
Okay. So Katie's a wincel, basically.
A wincel.
Yeah,
Is that like a female incel?
I think so.
He is definitely not that. Okay. And Katie's like, Katie's just a little weird, which is also why Romeo wasn't in on it. But um, Katie's like, now I have the solution to change my name and be Juliet. And at this moment, you hear just like a bunch of loud noises from the stairs, and you hear a bunch
Mhm.
of like yelling and like just sounds like someone's falling down the stairs. And
Right. And while they're falling, you hear bowl, spoon
yeah,
with each tumble.
yeah. And then you see someone and you just see someone and they hold up ball and then you go ball and it's the friar just is in the lab and he holds up ball and then the friar is immediately hit from behind and you hear spoon.
As both the bowl and the spoon fall at the toes of Katie while she's holding the beaker up high. And the bowl just like magically lands in sorry, the spoon just magically lands inside the bowl. Both the friar and the prince look at each other and go, "Bowl and spoon," in unison.
And now it's being anime, you just have the titles flash across the screen that goes Team Bowl and Spoon.
And then Romeo slams his face against the clear box and goes, "Bowl and spoon, bowl and spoon," and they all start chanting, "Bowl and spoon, bowl and spoon." Seeing this,
and,
yeah.
and yeah, seeing this, Katie gets flustered and she starts to um, drink the green, starts to drink the green potion in the beaker. And then you hear Juliet just yell out, "You can't drink it all. You gotta stop her, bowl and spoon."
So we're back in anime. The friar picks up the bowl and goes, "With the power of my bowl." The prince picks up the spoon and goes, "With the power of my spoon." And the friar knocks like the side of the beaker, which allows the beaker to like spin again and have the rest of the liquid fall into the bowl. um, as the prince's spoon goes inside the bowl, takes a whiff of the spoon, and he goes, "Open wide," and the friar opens his mouth. The prince starts feeding him the green liquid.
Nom 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 nom. Green liquid.
Oh my god, what are we doing with
Mystery green liquid. Yum yum yum.
this? And Romeo's in the box going, "Yeah, ball and spoon, ball and spoon."
And now, having had the green liquid, the bowl and the spoon start glowing and singing louder. And behind them, we have the ghost of Paris, the ghost of Tybalt, the uh, like ghost of Romeo, which was really just a fake out,
Yeah.
and all the ghosts are showing up and are just starting to look at Katie, and they're like, "You're the reason we're all dead or trapped in a glass box currently."
As Katie's like, "No, you fools!" Bowl and spoon start rising up into the air and they just vanish completely. And Katie goes, "5, 4, 3, 2, 1." They appear again, but this time they've switched the bowl and spoon. So the friar is holding onto the spoon and the prince is holding onto the bowl.
And now the friar's like, "Finally, a good offense is a good defense." And he starts charging at Katie with the sharpened spoon.
And the prince goes, "And the good defense is a good offense." And he's charging at Katie with the bowl. And Katie goes, "Stop! I don't need any of this." Here, tosses the keys of the box uh towards the person holding onto the bowl, which is the prince, as he catches it in his bowl, and goes, "That's it. I'm out. That took me years to make, and you guys ruined it in seconds. Do whatever you want." As she just
And
walks away.
while Katie's walking away, the friar takes the keys and walks over to the glass box. He tries to open the glass box to let Romeo and Juliet out, but it doesn't. The keys don't work. He tries all the keys on the keychain and they don't work. And then Aeschylus comes up behind him and he is picking at his belly button for some lint. And he puts some lint in the keyhole and the door swings open.
And this is the tale of Bowl and Spoon.
Romeo and Juliet sequel. Oh my god.
What did we do? I thought it was gonna be a drama, and then we turned it into this.
Do the outro, Andy.
Okay. This is the outro, and I don't know what to say right now, but this is the outro.
Please subscribe. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Remember, we're bringing you the stories that the authors don't want you to know. I don't know. I was trying to make it something memorable for the out. I don't fucking know, dude.
Now you're overthinking it. You're just gonna be like, outro time. Thank you for listening to the stories authors are too lazy to write. That was
The outro?
yeah.
This is the outro. I don't understand. I don't understand. Is this the outro? Is this the ending?
Everything is an ending, Andy. All beginnings are endings. We could just play the intro for the outro.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're now on our next episode.
Yeah.
We just don't have an outro.
Say nice things about us online.
And if you don't want to say nice things about us online, then give it to your friends so at least we can boost that engagement.
Yeah, share, do things. Hell yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, I think we're good for the...
Oh my god.
Thank you for listening to Cliff Notes Continued. We'll be back on Tuesday, February 27th with a whole new book and a whole new story.